Join SCARF this February and help TM Pick and Pay support children living with cancer. TM Pick and Pay. Real value always. It's time for the news.
Thank you once again for joining us here on the main news. I am Justin Mahlatla. Nobo Maungwa joins us at the sign language desk.
Always good to have you with us. I'm Vicky Maponga and Marilyn Gwenya is at our Montreux studios. We'll cross over there a little later to give you more news from that end. Here's a look at what we are leading with in the bulletin tonight. International Monetary Fund backs Zimbabwe's economic growth forecast.
In business news, Zimbabwe's mining sector surpasses production targets despite global shocks.
And sport, mighty warriors prepare for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
And now to our leading story tonight, rebel groups in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo have declared a humanitarian ceasefire starting today to allow for aid to pass through.
This comes on the back of an announcement that a joint extraordinary SADC-EAC summit will be held in Tanzania this week, in a development that has been welcomed by analysts. Let's get our first report tonight.
In a statement, the M23 rebels cited humanitarian reasons for the ceasefire, which started this Tuesday after capturing territory in eastern parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The United Nations says at least 900 people have been killed and close to 3,000 injured in recent fighting in and around Goma, DRC's largest eastern city. Leaders from member states of the Southern African Development Community SADC and the East African Community EAC are scheduled to meet in Dar es Salaam between Friday and Saturday to discuss the ongoing hostilities and try to chart a way forward. Analysts believe there is an urgent need for old rivalries to be put aside and for dialogue to ensure lasting peace in the Southern African country.
For the very first time this year, that is 2025, these two key regional bodies are converging to tackle this crisis head on. And this shows a recognition that we are interconnected and that the DRC's problems are actually our problems. This development also highlights the critical role of regional cooperation in resolving complex conflicts.
When African leaders come together and say we want to speak together, and for me this is very historic because this is first time ever we are seeing this type of regional collaboration around peace building.
The emergency SADC summit held last week in Harare directed immediate dispatch of ministers of defense, chiefs of defense, and troops contributing countries to the DRC, with the regional chairperson, President Emerson Mnangagwa, stressing the importance of silencing the guns.
As masters of our own destiny, we therefore remain relentless in our quest to create a SADC and an African that plays its part at the global stage, guided by the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the spirit of African Renaissance. It is the individual and collective duty of all member states to do much more towards permanently silencing the guns if we are to succeed in achieving these aspirations. Together, we must march forward. No one and no place must be left behind.
The extraordinary SADC and EAC summit of heads of state and government will be preceded by the ministerial meeting on Friday. Olin Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
And now to matters of the economy, where Zimbabwe's growth forecast has received the backing of the International Monetary Fund that has also set the recovery rate at 6%. But this depends on commitment by authorities to friendly business policies and a good agricultural season.
The latest World Economic Outlook update by the IMF is predicting global growth to average 3% this year. The findings show that recovery in the global markets this year is also expected to benefit developing economies, including Zimbabwe, in terms of demand for locally produced commodities at profitable prices. The institution is, however, seeing a 6% growth for Zimbabwe in line with the Treasury forecast. The growth, which is above the sub-Saharan forecast at above 4%, is expected to be anchored on walking the talk towards sustained business growth, infrastructure development, and managing exchange rate disparities on the formal and informal sectors.
They are in line with the projections from the Treasury, and they are dependent on the agricultural season. Everyone is hoping that this season is going to be much better than last year. So that's obviously going to have positive externalities on the economy. A rebound in agriculture will affect positively the manufacturing sector and affect every other sector of the economy. But it also boosts even our energy generation capacity.
It is quite possible for that 6% growth to be achieved, especially on the back of recovery of international commodity prices. But as a country, what we need to do, the arrangements that the government is putting in place to try to safeguard, as it were, or to promote the formal sector by working with the informal sector, putting some measures in place, I think that is good. And also addressing the issue of all key enablers to enable business, industry to recover. And I'd also think that issues around tax, those also need to be looked into.
The global financial institution is expecting Zimbabwe and other economies to focus on policies to stamp out inflationary pressures, managing local and external risks, including prudent fiscal policies that promote viability of industry and commerce. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Construction of the new Mbare Musika market is now complete, with more than 2,000 traders expected to move into the new facility soon.
Mbare Musika traders are breathing a sigh of relief after the completion of a new modern market that will accommodate traders affected by an inferno that raised down the facility last year and destroyed their wares. A thorough verification exercise has been completed, with the affected vendors set to move into their new trading facility, ushering in a new era for one of Harare's largest marketplaces.
We are happy that for the targeted 4,926 affected traders, 4,226 have managed to come through for verification, and we have a balance of about 800 who have different queries. So we are happy with the registration process, which has gone very peacefully and which has been completed, and we expect that this now be escalated to our principals to say, now that we have done the verification process, we can now move into the second stage where we can actually now transfer the affected traders into the new market.
The new Mbare Musika market boasts of enhanced fire safety measures, expanded trading spaces, and better sanitation facilities. The fire, which occurred last year, resulted in significant losses for many traders who relied on the market for their livelihood, with government subsequently declaring the tragedy a state of disaster and intervening by constructing the modern facility. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Presidential empowerment programs are gathering momentum, with veterans of the liberation struggle being the latest to benefit from a $1.5 million United States dollar fund.
In line with President Emmerson Mnangagwa's mantra of leaving no one and no place behind, a fund for veterans of the liberation struggle has been unveiled. The beneficiaries believe the Presidential War Veterans Fund reflects government's recognition of the contributions made by war veterans, ex-political prisoners, detainees, restrictees, non-combatant cadres, and war collaborators to Zimbabwe's nationhood.
Chirongwa chakaitwa na President vafunga vachiziva upenyu hwedu kuti upenyu hwedu hunotangira papi hwakaomera papi semunhu anoziva zvinhu zvaanoita nevision yake pamakomboredzi ake.
Asi tasumudzirwa zvikuru nekuti tave kukwanisa zvino kunorima mbeu dzemhando yepamusoro.
Kona tasumudzirwa zvakanyanyisa nekuti hazvinambobvira zvakaitika muupenyu hwedu nhasi tapiwa iri mari.
The Presidential War Veterans Fund has been launched in 3 provinces, with Mashonaland East and Masvingo having received 100,000 and 150,000 United States dollars this Monday. War Veterans League Secretary Comrade Douglas Mahia said a trust will be opened and structures put in place for efficient distribution of funds to all the provinces.
Our idea is to be able to turn the forces that liberated this country to be the forces that will liberate the economy of this country. When war veterans have the money to be able to venture into such businesses that are strategic, to assist the party, to assist the government. Hakuna more veteran anotora authority or ownership of participating in the liberation struggle to tell the party what to do, for as long as you are a group of people and you are not the majority. And we also have this principle of the revolution which says minority is subordinate to majority. So that principle tells you that not a group of people will decide for the party and government, but the party decides for the government. Yeah. And so the president will proceed as demanded by the people.
Special Presidential Investment Advisor to the United Arab Emirates, Dr. Paul Tungwarara, highlighted the significance of the fund in capacitating war veterans and retaining their dignity.
Watora muhomwe mari haina interest. Kana waidzora watotipa interest. Sei tiri kuti watipa interest because zvawaita kuti umwe munhu auye adiwo atore.
The developmental trajectory being spearheaded by the Second Republic is expected to accelerate the country's economic transformation to an empowered, modern, prosperous and highly industrialized society by 2030. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
The War Veterans League has warned some rogue elements against indiscipline and undermining the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
Now, speaking on the sidelines of the launch of the Presidential War Veterans Fund at the ZANU-PF headquarters in Harare this Monday, War Veterans League Secretary Comrade Douglas Mahia said freedom fighters are bound by discipline and commitment to national development, which President Emmerson Mnangagwa is spearheading.
Would also want to assure the president that the War Veterans League is unlike any other. We will be with the people. The people of Zimbabwe, last year in Bulawayo at the conference, resolved that the president extends his period, he stays a little long until 2030. And as War Veterans League, we will stand with the president and the resolution of the people. Isusu tozoti Gwanda musanga ndiri kuti zvataurwa nevanhu ndozvaunotedzera. Kana ukangosina kutedzera zvataurwa nevanhu unenge wapanduka. Handigoni inini kugara pasi ndega with a few other people, and even the whole league cannot sit down and undo what was done at the conference. A war veteran must understand that the party is supreme. And the party set and resolved, and so shall we, as like any other person.
First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa was also the Culture and Heritage Patron in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, has launched a first-of-its-kind educative Chiperengo cultural quiz program for learners in a bid to preserve the country's heritage and culture.
continue a quest to preserve the country's rich indigenous languages, which are being deemed inferior owing to the effects of westernization, First Lady Dr. Mnangagwa, who is also the Culture and Heritage Patron in the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, launched a program dubbed Riperengo Cultural Quiz Program in Harare this Tuesday. The first of its kind initiative will afford learners a platform to learn the country's indigenous languages and to showcase their prowess in the local languages at a national level. The historic launch took place at the Heritage Village, where children drawn from various schools from affluent, medium and high-density suburbs came together for the highly educative program. The program attracted over 2,000 primary school learners from grades 5 to 7, teachers, parents, and officials from the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education. Those in attendance described the First Lady's program as a timely intervention to combat the extinction of indigenous languages. Launching the program, Amai Mnangagwa outlined what it entails. The First Lady's speech was also in English for the benefit of other provinces, where Amai is set to take the initiative so that they get prepared.
It is with great joy and pride that I stand before you today at the launch of the Riperengo Cultural Quiz Program. This initiative is not just a celebration of our rich cultural heritage, but also a testament to the importance of preserving and passing down our traditions to the youngsters of our generation. As we gather here today, I am reminded of the beauty and diversity of our beloved Zimbabwe. Our nation is home to many languages, each carrying its own unique history, stories, and wisdom. From Shona, Nambia, Ndebele, Tonga, Venda, Shangani, Xhosa, just to mention but a few. These languages are the lifeblood of our culture. They are the threads that weave together the fabric of our identity. It is our duty as cultural custodians to ensure that these languages and the rich heritage they represent are not lost to time. We must pass them down to you, our children, so that you may carry them forward with pride and honor.
Dr. Mnangagwa also indicated that while we believe in embracing other cultures and languages since the world is now a global village, the country's linguistic legacy should not be dismissed as irrelevant no matter where one goes to study or settle in.
Muri chidadiso cheunhu hwedu, muri chidadiso chekuti tikusiyirei zvatinoziva, muri chidadiso chekuti chichaendesa nyika yedu mberi. Usazvitarisira pasi, wakakosha mwanangu. Pane zvakawanda zvatinotarisirawo kwauri kubudikidza nokudzidza nokudzidziswa, uye kubudikidza neunhu hwako, kuzvibata kwako, kusapinda mumadrugs, kuteerera varairidzi, kuteerera vabereki, kuziva kuti iwe ndiwe ani, uri mukomana unoda kuitei, uri musikana unoda kuzovei. Hauna kuzvarirwa chamusikana wevakomana. Iwe mukomana hauna kuzvarirwa tamukomana wavasikana. Kwamuchaenda tinenge tisipo isu vabereki venyu nevarairidzi, tinenge tisipo. Saka chengetedza zvauchadzidza nhasi, ndizvo zvichakuchengeta kana ukaenda kuzvikoro chero zvisiri zvekunyika muno.
Amai Mnangagwa added that the program is in line with the country's heritage-based curriculum. She also highlighted that the program will encompass cooking competitions where children will showcase their culinary skills in preparing traditional dishes, which are highly nutritious and medicinal. Setting the tone for the Zviperengo Cultural Quiz Show, Dr. Mnangagwa asked the students how they announced their arrival at someone's residence. The highly interactive show also saw Amai checking children's knowledge on idioms, young ones of animals, traditional utensils and their uses, and how to prepare some traditional dishes. Some of the responses ignited laughter after some children exhibited a lack of knowledge on some traditional utensils.
Panoti musika mugot nepoto.
The learners were also asked to spell some jaw-breaking Shona words. Parents, being key players in language acquisition by their children, were also part of the show. It emerged during the program that some of them did not know various traditional utensils and some figures of speech. The learners also had an opportunity to ask each other questions. Deputy Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Angeline Gata, in a vote of thanks, commended the First Lady for a timely intervention, which is key in saving local languages from extinction and the dominating influence of other languages. She added that the initiative will go a long way in molding intelligent learners who embrace the country's cultural heritage for posterity. The First Lady, who has been leading from the front in spearheading programs to build a brighter future for the country, has been tapping from the country's cultural heritage, which has inbuilt mechanisms to fight challenges which affect children and mold them into responsible citizens. The cultural quiz program will be taken to all the country's provinces. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
The agriculture mechanization program being spearheaded by President Emmerson Mnangagwa has become a transformative tool for thousands of land reform beneficiaries and has enhanced their commercial farming activities. That report from Tendai Munengwa.
The Second Republic, under the stewardship of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, has taken the agriculture landscape to greater heights, with the Zimbabwe Beralus mechanization program being one of the signature projects which has transformed many farmers to produce high and quality yields in all crops.
ZBC News visited some farms just outside Harare where farmers gave testimonies of how they managed to boost productivity thanks to the Second Republic's agriculture mechanization program.
Ndaikanga ndiri murimi airima nemombe asi nekuda kwechirongwa cha president va Emmerson Mnangagwa ndinochitenda zvikuru nokuti tairima ma 1 hectare but ndakwanisa kurima 7 hectares.
Takaachiva kuti takavaka musha wedu tikaona kuti panorima pepanonotengesa tikadzoka togara pasi toronga takatengawo masola edu tikaisa magetsi edu takatora tauni tikaiunza kuno kumusha.
Vana vechidiki vari kupururudza pamusoro pemaBelarus tractors iwayaya zvokuti vamwe vacho vazhinji vakatora last year matractors vari kutarisira kutopedza chikwereti che5 years within kuitira kuti vamwe vatorewo sekuti vari kuda development.
The Second Republic has embarked on a vibrant agriculture transformation program that equipped thousands of farmers with tractors and implements.
From 2020, we had numbers that constituted about 7,900 tractors. And as at the close of the financial year in 2024, we are looking at 15,308 tractors. For those farmers that have really adopted mechanization, there's been about 215% increase in output.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa said the agriculture mechanization strides are a result of the success of the engagement and re-engagement policy, which are also sanction-busting measures.
We have determined how many hectares we want in this country under irrigation to make sure we produce the food we want plus surplus. That we've achieved. And I'm happy to say we've achieved that through the support of my dear brother who is here, President Lukashenko. There is the evidence. We have decided to mechanize, modernize our agriculture, and this we've achieved within 3 years.
With the bulk of farmers having come of age in producing high-quality yields through the agriculture mechanization empowerment, the country is poised to regain its status as the breadbasket of SADC come 2030. Tendai Munengwa, ZBC News, in Mashonaland West Province.
Air Force of Zimbabwe's Air Commodore Ellen Chiweshe has been appointed as the first female base commander at the Jason Ziapapa Moyo Air Force Base in Chegutu, taking over from outgoing Air Commodore Nicholas Nyati.
Air Commodore Ellen Chiweshe has made history in the Air Force of Zimbabwe after becoming the first female officer to command the Jason Ziapapa Moyo Air Force Base in Chegutu. She takes over from outgoing base commander Air Commodore Nicholas Independence after the then group captain Mildred Dengura took charge at Manyame Air Base before retiring as an Air Commodore. Chief Witnessing Officer, Air Force of Zimbabwe Commander Air Marshal John Jacob Nzwede said the appointment confirms the security forces' commitment towards promoting gender equality.
This momentous occasion that we celebrate today, ladies and gentlemen, is not by any means accidental. Instead, it is a result of the Air Force of Zimbabwe and Zimbabwe Defense Forces' consistency in supporting the government of Zimbabwe gender mainstreaming policies. The process began with the implementation of equal opportunities policies at recruitment and in the workplaces.
Outgoing base commander Air Commodore Nyati commended the positive cordial relations between the security forces and the local community, something which Air Commodore Ellen Chiweshe also vowed to uphold.
We worked tirelessly to enhance the operational effectiveness of the base, improve the welfare of our officers and members, and to strengthen our relationship with the surrounding communities.
My priority will be to build on the successes of the past while embracing new challenges and opportunities. I am committed to fostering a culture of teamwork, innovation, continuous improvement, and I look forward to working collaboratively with each of you to achieve our goals.
Junior officers say the unprecedented appointment serves as a confirmation that excellence leads to reward.
It's an honor to have another lady kuti atungamirire an Air Force base. It shows that ladies, we are capable of doing what men can do.
We are inspired to see that we can actually rise through the ranks to take up such influential positions in the Air Force of Zimbabwe.
Apa tiri kuona kuti tavhurirwa mukana sevakadzi kuti tinokwanisa kutungamirira.
Meanwhile, government is promoting gender mainstreaming as witnessed by the appointment of senior female officers who are heading various units and provinces across the country. Tamuka Charakupa, ZBC News, Chegu 2.
A groundbreaking partnership between the Harare Institute of Technology and the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe has made Zimbabwe a leading player in data protection and privacy standards on the continent.
The Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, has joined forces with the Harare Institute of Technology to keep Zimbabwe's ICT industry abreast with modern data protection and security standards. POTRA's Director General Dr. Gift Machengete said the partnership places Zimbabwe ahead of many countries in data protection regulation in Africa.
The standard is high. It's equivalent to other international, courses of the same nature, like the ones which we used to have, from Europe, because they also certify data protection officers. This is why now we are actually attracting people from other countries, because they've seen the type of the course that we are offering.
Harare Institute of Technology Vice Chancellor Engineer Quinton Kanukamwe said the institution's technological edge in modern ICT training makes them a natural choice to partner POTRAZ.
In this school, we run a degree in information security and assurance, which has been a cornerstone in terms of critical skills development. It is from within this department and our collaboration with POTRAZ that we have been able to come up with a curriculum, a program that responds to this act in terms of development and training of data protection officers.
During the last cabinet meeting of 2024, President Emmerson Mnangagwa underscored the need to entrench modern digital systems in government and public institutions to improve efficiency. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
All is set for the 2025 Fruit Logistica in Berlin, Germany, with Zimbabwean companies expecting to extend their market share for horticultural produce. Let's get more detail.
The stage is set for Zimbabwean companies to seek ways of expanding their market share globally as the Berlin Fruit Logistica 2025 kicks off this Wednesday. Zimbabwe's ambassador to Germany, Her Excellency Alice Mashingaidze, believes such platforms are critical towards unlocking business potential for a global market.
Fruit Logistica and other like-minded exhibitions bring us to a platform where the imports between Zimbabwe and Germany have significantly increased from $47.605 million in 2019 to 78 million in 2023, which is quite a number, which is significant. But we foresee great potential still, as we are still to facilitate more trade between our two countries.
Ambassador Mashingaidze commended ZIMTrade for facilitating the presence of local firms, saying a lot of business is being generated through direct engagement with buyers and suppliers of cutting-edge technology in the sector.
We hope to continue the trajectory of economic diplomacy and achieve sustainable global supply chain position also as Zimbabwe on the global market. And in the long run, we intend also not to just be part of the supply chain globally, but also attain food sovereignty and food security in the region in Africa.
ZIMTrade has facilitated the participation of 30 Zimbabwean firms, with some exhibiting their produce while others are following up on previous engagements to concretize partnerships. Bruce Chawanda, ZBC News, Berlin.
We want to appreciate all those viewers who have joined us and are watching on our social media pages on Facebook at ZBC News Online, as well as on our YouTube page. But remember also you can check for more news on our X handle at ZBC News Online, as well as on our WhatsApp channel. We are at ZBC News Online. And there's more on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. Also check our Instagram and TikTok pages for more.
Here's a look at stories you may still expect in the bulletin tonight. In business, Zimbabwe's mining sector surpasses production targets despite global shocks. And sport, mighty warriors prepare for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The main news takes a breather. Join us when we return.
Stroke of genius! Introduce the stroke of genius. Oh, Zimbabwe yakuzosumuka manje. Stroke of genius andiri kureva chera. President ED Mnangagwa vari kupa mabankable, registrable and transferable title deeds na every farmer akapuwa munda pa land reform program. Takanga takapuwa minda asi takanga tisina simba rekupinda mumabhengi semama mumabusiness kuti tipewo maloni akachipa tatakuwara nezvimbazo mani. Zvino nestroke of genius yekupuwa matitle deeds tikupinduka mubhengi sevamwe totopuwa maloni takutodevelopa mafamu.
Saka kuduza kuti land yese yatoneva
ende ukapuwa title deed iroro chiyera mundu wako uchatoreki yatova nhaka yevazukuru nevazukuru ndo zvinoda fama manje izvozvo security of tenure.
Iwe pandiri panapa ndakutokwanisa kutopa vana nhaka kuti chidimu chako ichi chemunda chidimu chako ichi
exactly
zvichifambiswa sei.
President ED Mnangagwa igenius manje vakabva vati kuti zvinyatsofamba negwara rakatwasanuka zviri transparent ndobva vagadza inonzi Land Tenure Implementation Committee iri kushanda nemumapazi ehurumende.
But iwe unozviziva iwo kuti kune maland barons akazara ukanopamba minda dzevanhu.
Dai vatoregera zvavo ndiwo kopo usiri kudiwa naPresident Mnangagwa iroro. Ndo saka Land Tenure Implementation Committee yakati ngatishandisei ma-ID numbers, number dzepachitupa kuti munhu haakwanisi kuva nemafamu maviri. Plus Land Tenure iyi committee haisi kupa minda pachayo. Iri kutwasanudza pakupiwa kwema-title deeds.
Alright. Iwe saka zvichida kuti tato protected kasei mavarimi.
Exactly manje.
Kukozwa
kuti une stroke of genius here. President ED apa vasikira vana veZimbabwe upfumi.
In the heart of Harare, where craftsmanship meets innovation, Prevail Group of Companies is building the backbone of Zimbabwe's construction industry. Every clang of metal, every precise cut, and every calculated measurement is a testament to our commitment to quality. From gang nails in various lengths to robust C-purlins and clip channels, our team is engineering excellence, one product at a time. Our seamless gutters, manufactured to perfection. These aren't just products, they're solutions. Need security fencing? Our diamond mesh fences are crafted with precision and strength, available in multiple sizes, reaching heights of up to 6 meters. When we say durable, we mean it. And when it comes to roofing, our Chromadeck and corrugated roofing sheets bring reliability and sleek design to every project. At Prevail Group, we don't just manufacture products. We create the tools that build Zimbabwe's future. With every project, we stand for trust, integrity, and workmanship. Prevail Group of Companies, where quality is not just a promise, it's a guarantee.
Welcome back. This is the main news now. Skeletons continue to fall in the Harare City Council closet amid revelations that the Harare Municipal Medical Aid Society reportedly bought a house in Ruwa at an inflated price of $1 million. Let's get more detail.
So continued this Tuesday with the commission questioning Harare Mayor Councillor Jacob Mafume over his alleged interference in the council's daily affairs. In his response, Councillor Mafume admitted that his actions are necessary for the benefit of the Harare City Council and ratepayers. He also gave a damning report on the Harare Municipal Medical Aid Society, which reportedly bought a house in Rua for an inflated price of $1 million United States dollars, while council workers were left unpaid and without medical treatment.
And you also attend Harare Municipality Medical Aid Association meetings.
Yes, I did attend because $1 million US had been stolen. How can it be ordinary? When people take $1 million US to buy a house in Rua.
The commission also questioned Councillor Mafume over allegations of amassing residential property in Harare. In his defense, the mayor claimed that the Harare City Council had not been kind to him, claiming that they failed to renovate his mayoral mansion. He also claimed that lack of security detail exposed him to danger. Harare City Council's acting town clerk Engineer Pakamile Mabena Moyo also appeared before the commission. In his submission, Engineer Mabena claimed that the incompetence of city officials is contributing to the pollution of Lake Chiwero.
What would be your comment if I say that the pollution in the lake where we draw our water to drink is also being contributed by the failure by the city of Harare to curb sewage bursts, as well as the failure to collect refuse?
I'll say the city of Harare is contributing quite significantly in the basin through sewerage, untreated sewerage spilling into our river sources, into our water source.
So you agree with me basically?
Yes, I do.
The Commission of Inquiry led by retired High Court Judge Justice Matthews Cheda is expected to conclude its inquest this month. It has so far exposed a web of corruption, nepotism and gross financial mismanagement within the Harare City Council. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
And now for the next couple of stories, let's cross over to our Montreal studios in Bulawayo, where we join Marilyn Gwenya. It's a good evening to you, Marilyn.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Justin and Vicky. In our following report, Regional Sustainable Development Goals Localization and Voluntary Reviews Capacity Building Workshop is underway in Victoria Falls, and parties have been employed to localize and integrate the development goals into the local communities.
The three-day review workshop, being attended by delegates from Zimbabwe, South Africa and Mozambique, comes at a time when the world is halfway through the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. While progress has been made in some areas, many challenges remain, and localizing the SDG is seen as essential to accelerating progress and ensuring that no one is left behind.
With an estimated 65% of SDGs targets linked to the work of local and regional governments, effective localization is not just important, it is a prerequisite for achieving the SDGs.
The SDGs are global objectives, but their true impact can only be realized when localized and integrated within our communities. Local governments play a vital role in translating global frameworks into actionable, context-specific policies and projects that improve the lives of citizens.
Zimbabwe has worked to capacitate all 92 local authorities on the voluntary local review process in line with the government directive of 2020, and local authorities are aware of their role in this matrix.
Local authorities are the areas where these people stay, and we know them by their villages and from the wards that they come from. So it is easy because through the local leadership, that's the traditional leadership, and the councillors were able to have that reach to the grassroots.
Local authorities need to have a deliberate policy towards budgeting to fund such committees.
One of the key goals of this workshop is to enhance the capacity of local and national governments as well as key stakeholders in Mozambique, South Africa and Zimbabwe in preparing a comprehensive and action-oriented voluntary local review. SDGs seek to resolve poverty, gender inequality, climate resilience, quality education and much more. tichaona kurewa. ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
Now from Victoria Falls, we take a look at what's happening in one of Gwanda South communities, where Gwanda South residents are implementing various empowerment projects as they upscale efforts to end drug and substance abuse among youths.
For a community that is in the borderline area, there is a risk of youths being involved in drug and substance abuse, and the leadership is taking a proactive approach in fighting the menace through providing empowerment initiatives. One such empowerment initiative is the skills training, where more than 80 youths were trained as security guards, with half of the number already employed in different security companies across the country.
Ngokuchona emakhaya bengadingi imisebenzi, abanye sebehlala ezitaradeni. So uma baleka wabesilethela i-training center ubana sizotraina kwenale ndawo. So sabuya kuzotraina.
The initiative, which is a broader strategy by the community to reduce drug and substance abuse and empower the youths, is also meant to protect the community from marauding cattle rustlers.
Siyabonga sibili umakwati Loma baleka wezimsebenzi omkhulu kakhulu lapha ewadini. Baningi abantwana asebesebenza ngalesi security.
Thina sivumela abantu abethu singabacontrol. Every day uvuke nathi intshengu wena uyasebenza ngale uyathumeza igrocery uyathatha uyathengisa inkomo uyathengisa izindlu uyagqekeza amavire empompi asikhuluma inqola uyahambe ethengisa simobani.
Handing over certificates to the youths who graduated at Gungwe Business Center, area legislator Dr. Umpile Marupi called on the youths to take a proactive role in fighting drug and substance abuse.
Sizathi nxa ukhansela ingena phakathi baba mangwangwa ebantwini nani bafundisi sithi kwenena limvumele angene emachechi akhulumisane labantu abatshele ukuqhakatheka kwe-training lay ukuthi khonena iyehlisa ukuthathwa kwama drugs nama youth iyehlisa ukungaqhathwa kwama youth iyabapha amandla. It's an empowering program.
Government is on a massive drive to fight drug and substance abuse among young people. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
More than 60 primary schools in Bulilima district have received a major boost in their school feeding program after getting a consignment of rice sourced by President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
For a district in the same arid region of Matabeleland South Province, the drought that was experienced last year left most parents struggling to provide a balanced diet for their children, which had a negative impact on their performance. The script only changed when the government introduced the mandatory school feeding program. The efforts have received a major boost after the handover of a consignment of rice sourced by President Emmerson Mnangagwa to 65 primary schools in the district.
In 2024, the government gave us 208 metric tons of minimum for primary schools, and that was too much for the primary sector. And we said, okay, you share with your secondary colleagues and feeding. As we closed in 2024, it was taking place in both primary and secondary schools.
The local leadership is appreciative of the kind gesture.
We are accepting and very grateful for the donation. School feeding is a policy issue. We have no choice.
Handing over the consignment, Matabeleland South Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, called on schools to start income-generating projects and complement government's feeding program.
For schools, I appeal to you to make you sure that school children should be fed on each school day and involve the community so that the process becomes sustainable.
The Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education is implementing the school feeding program to improve the nutrition and welfare of children. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Bulilima.
We take a look at what's happening in the courts, where another Zimbabwe Revenue Authority officer stationed at Victoria Falls border post has appeared in court facing charges of criminal abuse of office. This comes after 2 others were arrested at the weekend facing similar charges.
The accused Jean Felix Kudaro, a ZIMRA customs officer stationed at the Victoria Falls border post, is alleged to have unlawfully facilitated the import of 10 motor vehicles older than 10 years in violation of Statutory Instrument 54 of 2024. The alleged offense occurred between January and December 2024. The prosecution alleges that Kudaro received electronic and manual documents from clients. He allegedly completed valuation processes, altered vehicle chassis numbers, and submitted the falsified documents to the supervisor for approval. The alleged manipulation of chassis numbers was reportedly done to deceive the supervisor during the vehicle age verification process. After obtaining supervisory approval based on the altered information, the accused allegedly entered the correct chassis numbers into the Ascuda World system. It is alleged that he also altered the physical valuation sheets or replaced the documents previously submitted to the supervisor with the correct details before final processing. The accused is also alleged to have released the vehicles without recording them in the release register and ensuring their registration as required by station standing instructions. The alleged offences came to light when a vehicle which had not yet physically arrived in Zimbabwe was discovered to have already been registered. The accused was denied bail and will be back in court on the 17th of February for continuation of trial. Meanwhile, 2 other ZIMRA officers, Philip Kuvenga and Rangarira Ishe Zingwe, facing similar charges, have been denied bail. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
And that's it from myself, Marilyn Gwanda, and the Montrose crew for tonight. Justin and Vicky are on standby with more news.
Many thanks there, Marilyn. Now, the recently established Rutenga Multi-Service Center in Mwenezi has become a source of hope for the local community, providing employment and a ready market for their sesame and paprika produce.
The establishment of the Rutenga Multi-Service Center, which consists of a sesame and paprika processing plant, has turned Mwenezi into a hive of activity. The center, established last year, comes with a vocational training center, which has accommodated more than 80 young people.
mara kusukela lani ngata kumatiro ni vile nokutla ukawonya nawo so anokunta kusetawo kusukela kendangu wakaina wakamaleke naye tla ukawo
inini ndingati ndiri kubenefita zvikuru nekushanda pano apa pakambani kwandiri kuita nekuti ndisati ndashanda pano apa ndaifesa mamwe ma difficulties ekuti sometimes ndisina mubatsiri angandibatsira nemari
chenda pano pataita zvino zvakabatsira pamhuri newana wakukwanisa kuwana mari dzema school fees nekuti unochengeta mhuri.
The multi-service center has also created new business opportunities for farmers who now have a ready market for their produce.
We are giving seed to the farmers. We've got an agreement, joint venture model agreement with the Apache irrigation scheme, which was funded by SAFE project, Seeds for the Future. We've linked them with the bank and with the market, so we are taking them through that joint venture model.
The main thrust for this service center is obviously to unlock markets for the different value chains that the farmers in Mwenezi and surrounding districts are doing.
The Rutenga Multi-Service Center project dovetails with the Second Republic's policies that seek to enhance value addition and beneficiation in the entire agricultural value chain to boost the country's export earnings and create employment. Geima Tambo, ZBC News, Mwenezi.
And now in news from beyond our borders, international food donors have warned that thousands of people in Sudan are on the verge of food shortages as the conflict continues.
According to the latest Integrated Food Security Phase Classification IPC report, around 8.5 million Sudanese are facing famine. Aid organizations that include Doctors Without Borders and the United Nations say they are providing aid only to those in dire need, warning of severe malnutrition in Sudan if the fighting continues. The war between the Sudanese Army and the Rapid Support Forces RSF has been going on since April 2023.
China says it will impose additional tariffs on certain U.S. products effective the 10th of February in response to 10% tariff hike on imports from China by the Donald Trump administration that took effect this Tuesday. The Chinese Customs Tariff Commission of the State Council says there will be an additional 15% tariff imposed on imported coal and liquefied natural gas originating from the United States. The Commission states that China's decision has been made in accordance with corresponding domestic laws and regulations and the basic principles of international law, as well as having the approval of the State Council. Reports state that the unilateral tariff increase by the U.S. violated rules of the World Trade Organization and undermines the normal economic and trade cooperation between China and the United States.
Well, next we look at business after these messages.
Zimbabwe, 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 travel Zimbabwe.
This Valentine's Day, gift your loved one an experience beyond words. Imagine strolling down the serene Binga Beach with your soulmate, listening to the waves of the lake hitting the shore, or exploring a charming hidden village, witnessing its beauty, experiencing traditional gastronomy, or simply savoring delicious meals in the heart of a bustling city, creating memories every step of the way. Nestled within the rugged heart of nature's splendor, your picnic unfurled upon a rocky outcrop, cradled between the sky and the earth, witnessing breathtaking sunsets together. This Valentine, travel with your special someone, discover new places, make memories, and fall in love all over again. Plan your romantic getaway now and let your heart lead the way. Travel and experience Zimbabwe this Valentine. Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, 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 everybody gets a call.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
To the back of the net!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
This is the time to take risks.
Incredible!
I've heard good things about you. Don't let me down.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
In one of our headline stories tonight in business, despite unfavorable global commodity prices, Zimbabwe's mining sector continues to drive national economic growth.
The country's mining sector continues to show resilience and drive Zimbabwe's economic growth despite fluctuating commodity prices on the global market. Speaking at the ongoing Investing in Africa Mining in Daba in South Africa, the Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Honorable Winston Chitando, commended the mining sector's continued endurance during the global downturn in commodity prices.
What is very important is that first of all, to note that 2023 and especially 2024, we witnessed very low commodity prices right across the entire sector of the mining space, except for gold. But suffice to say that despite the low commodity prices, we didn't have any major, shutdown of mines. But at the same time, actual fact, we continue to witness the expansion of the industry, as right across all the minerals, which include the lithium and PGM sector, which you have made reference to. So that in its own shows or demonstrates the resilience of the Zimbabwe mining space.
Minister Chitando added that the mining sector will continue to play a key role in making Zimbabwe attain an upper middle income society by 2030.
As the mining sector will continue to, to play a key role in terms of economic development of our country by increasing the exploration and of our minerals, to make sure that we leverage on the minerals for them to get them out of the ground, for them to support employment, for them to be value added.
According to the World Bank, metal and mineral prices fell by 7% in November last year, with commodity prices expected to fall further in 2025 and 2026. Paraigwaze, ZBC News, Cape Town.
Zimbabwe's small and medium enterprises growth plan is on course as government continues to mobilize resources in support of emerging firms.
A tour of emerging business units by the government officials in Harare this Tuesday provided a platform to gather information from the SME sector and assess their viability. The entrepreneurs are pinning hopes for growth on government support.
The economy itself is gaining a lot in terms of flooring, new flooring. Angasingazikanwa architects, because architects zvinozvanetsa ceramic, porcelain, ndo angachisa kuma floors, whereas high resistant products granite, and internationally vakato replace porcelain iwa nema ceramic kuisa floors granites.
The economy has been opened and there's a lot of activity at the moment. For us, we have been involved in several projects ever since the beginning of the second regime, which has helped us to mechanize. And now we are actually looking to go outside the country to export in the regional markets, taking advantage of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. So I think the activity that is in the economy, the support and everything that is going on, surely pushes us to only accomplish because the environment is very conducive.
Government reaffirmed a commitment towards implementation of the SME's growth plan.
Some of them are doing extremely well, as you have seen. We are right here at Swazi Granite, and you can see the mechanization which is here. The company has actually been supported through government, banks, through government, through the bank. RBZ has been also been there to help them to be where they are.
The growth plan also seeks to capacitate emerging firms, offer support, mobilize funding, and provide an enabling environment for growth. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From business news, we look into the arts. The legacy of Michael Jackson still goes on, almost 16 years after his death.
Of course, a revered musician whose artistry left the world in awe, MJ has been reincarnated in Zimbabwe through Bulawayo-based Skhumbuzo Sigola, who is making a career out of imitating the legendary king of pop.
The King of Pop breathed his last on the 25th of June 2009. With over a decade after his death, some innovative artists are making a career out of imitating the late American music icon. They dress like him, imitate his dazzling dance moves, and probably think like him. None other than 30-year-old Bulawayo-based dancer Skhumbuzo Sigola imitates the King of Pop better. Going by the name Skhums the Moonwalker, Sigola, who has a striking resemblance to the late Michael Jackson, has built a career based on MJ's dance moves.
When I saw Michael on TV, I asked my mom, who is this man? Okita, so she was like, "Nguye Michael Jackson." Nguye lo ingoma zakhe siloko zichaya lapha endlini nxa ngibona. So ngase ngibona okay, Okita so and actually ubaba was a dancer and a good dancer as well. So did my grandfather. Then now me.
The Zimbabwean version of Michael Jackson has invested a lot of time and resources to transform himself from being the ordinary man on the street to someone who makes his turn. From the shoes to the white stockings, Skhums the Moonwalker has also invested a lot in the art of imitation as he gets his outfits from MJ collections in America.
Kulo malumama se London ukuthiwa Agrippa. So he's the one who decided ukuthi no man, it's high time mfana usukhulile. Dress as Michael Jackson.
Having perfected MJ's signature footwork, it is no surprise he has been named after the dance move.
Baba used to praise me when I'm dancing. He never looked down upon me. Even bela gatherings ukuthi mfana miyagida nxa ngigida bengiqakezela izandla.
Creatives who have had the pleasure to rub shoulders with Sikola have been left in awe.
Ngimbukele kuma shows akhe amaningi kakhulu ngithi then uGayiluwa uyangenza ibe sentweni naliyana yokudala liyana like uMG angithi
something unique. Yeah, it's a long process but something unique.
Watching Scomes the Moonwalker perform reminds the older generation of the good old days.
When you see him, he looks exactly like the real Michael Jackson because he puts on that makeup, then you don't even realize it's him. He's got so much talent.
A legend in the making, the sky is the limit for Scomes the Moonwalker. Lisa Masoko, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Well, the dance moves, the makeup, and of course the outfit. One would be convinced that's indeed the king of pop, but I believe we can call him our own prince of pop. Time for a break. We'll be back with sport with Lawrence Trusida.
Imagine a Zimbabwe where businesses thrive without borders, where healthcare reaches the remotest areas and finance flows seamlessly. Introducing Aura Group Starlink, your trusted partner in revolutionizing business connectivity. With enterprise-grade reliability, scalability, and nationwide reach, we tailor our solutions to match your industry needs. From e-learning to industrial optimization, our high-speed internet empowers businesses to grow without limits. Get started today with our quick setup guarantee. Kits available now for immediate deployment. Contact us now to revolutionize your business operations with Aura Group Starlink. Connect without limits.
Want to elevate your entertainment? Then add Showmax to your DSTV subscription at a discount. Showmax is not a TV channel. It's an on-demand video streaming service on Showmax.com. To add Showmax to your DSTV subscription, simply use the My DSTV app. Select Add Showmax. The app screen will display the discount you qualify for. Now you can enjoy exclusive shows and movies you won't find anywhere else. Add Showmax to elevate your entertainment.
Good evening once again, and thank you so much for joining us on Sports News this evening as we get to give you what has been happening through the day. My name is Lawrence Trusida. We start off with football news, where the new ZIMRA board has hit the ground running after paying a courtesy visit to the senior women's team, the Mighty Warriors, who are preparing for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers.
It is a new era for Zimbabwean football as the newly elected board is trying to put its imprint on local football. ZIMRA President Nqobile Magwizi, accompanied by board member Kudzai Kadzombe, visited the Mighty Warriors this Tuesday as they kick-started their preparations for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON qualifiers. Magwizi wasted no time in highlighting that during his tenure, player welfare issues will be at the forefront, and for the first time, the Mighty Warriors will get camping allowances as they previously used to get match and traveling allowances.
As you stand there, you are representing every lesson, whether Ariku Mausepa, whether Ariku Kanyemba, Chase Tata Sainim, Dimagasum, Jasum Africa Zimbabwe. So even as you prepare for the upcoming matches, just know, could you carry my hopes and yes. I'm very, very proud of you girls, what you have done so far, and what you are doing currently, and what you are going to do in the future.
Kadzombe further highlighted the thrust the new ZIMRA board is taking.
Our hopes are in you as the Mighty Warriors, that you're going to take Zimbabwe, to the greatest level possible. The women have achieved it. We have reached the highest level of competition, and so I know when you go through for the WAFCON, you're going to bring the trophy home.
Stetelelwe Kwinji, 15 Banda, who has been in the Mighty Warriors setup for more than 20 years from her days as a player up to now when she is the head coach, was elated.
It's really a boost because
when the players are happy, they give more than 100%, and they are motivated, and also their performance improves.
The Mighty Warriors will take on Angola on the 20th of this month in Luanda, with the return leg set for South Africa a week later. The winner of the fixture will progress to the second round of the WAFCON qualifiers.
Definitely good news there coming through from the new ZIFA board, and we certainly hope that they will live to their promises. From the Mighty Warriors, we'll move on to the Warriors, where Vice Captain Mwenezi is delighted to have sealed a move to the English Premier Soccer League after completing a 3.5-year deal with Wolverhampton Wanderers on the January transfer deadline day.
Dubbed the world's best football league, the English Premier League has welcomed yet another Zimbabwean starlet after former Orlando Pirates and Stade Reims midfielder Mwenezi joined Wolves. Mwenezi, who was with Reims in the French League One for the past 3.5 seasons, becomes the most expensive Zimbabwean footballer after sealing a move rumored to be around £16 million plus add-ons, with sources suggesting an overall £20 million deal. The Warriors vice captain is quoted on the Wolves website expressing his delight over the move. Mwenezi beat the £11 million plus add-ons record held by Marvelous Nakamba when he moved to Aston Villa in 2019. The midfielder has hit his prime since sealing a move to Europe, earning the armband for both club and country with his 21 caps this season, a testament to his exploits. After sealing a move to Europe, the 28-year-old turned out to be a regular starter for Reims, making 159 appearances, recording 21 goal contributions during that stint. Commenting on the record-breaking move, Wolves chairman Jeff Shai said he is well aware of Mwenezi's experience in European top-tier football before promising first-team football for Mwenezi. Mwenezi's move comes as good news to Zimbabwe football fans who are optimistic Mwenezi will convince the two starlets to represent Zimbabwe. Reynold Ngwarati, ZBC News.
We continue to say congratulations there to the Warriors vice captain Mwenezi for moving to the English Premier League. And on that note, we put a cap on sports news, and it's now time for the weather update.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast over Fanjuba, with a bit of moisture because of influence of the intertropical convergence zone over the northern parts of the country into our metropolitan, where areas such as Ruwa into Chitungwiza also received the bulk of the rainfall. To the northern parts, we had less rainfall, as well as the southern parts of Zimbabwe, where we had more of sunny conditions, but the influence of the ITCZ being felt over the northeastern parts of the country into our metropolitan, as well as parts of Mashonaland East. This activity still remains over those northern parts of the country with isolated thunder showers, but for the rest of the country, we still urge you to keep hydrated because we're still expecting sunny conditions. In Madagascar, we still had tropical storm Vida making landfall over Madagascar, but over Zimbabwe, we've got less cloud over the south and more to the northern parts of the country. But we're still expecting an increase of that cloud cover as we get into the later parts of this week. For tonight, we're expecting mild conditions, but it should be hot by afternoon tomorrow. We were expecting brief cloudy periods over the northern part of the country, and as such over Bulawayo, we're expecting more cloud as we get into the weekend and more isolated showers. Same for Matopo, more sunshine for much of this week, and for Gwanda as well. But for Monday and Tuesday next week, we're expecting more of the rain showers from the east. And for Masvingo, we're expecting more rain showers to drift into the eastern parts of that country, and also over Gweru, we're expecting more of the sunny skies for much of this week with more cloudy conditions into the weekend. Kwekwe also following suit with more cloudy projected from Saturday into Sunday, and for Kadoma, we're expecting more cloud and rainfall as we enter into Sunday and Monday. For Harare, we're expecting brief cloudy periods here and there, but more rainfall as we enter next week. Same for Chinoi, we're expecting moisture to drift in from the east, giving us thundery weather into the weekend. For Lupane, we're expecting generally sunny skies for much of this week, but for next week, more rain showers projected. Same for Victoria Falls, we're expecting brief cloudy periods here and there. So for those in the wetlands, we expect more rainfall in those areas. For Kariba, we're expecting a bit of thundery weather into Monday next week, and a few isolated this week. For Marondera, we're expecting the same. We're expecting more sunny breaks during this week, but next week we're expecting more rain. For Nyanga, also over the Eastern Highlands, the rain should enter in much earlier, around Friday into Saturday, so we still urge you that when thunder rolls, it's best to be indoors. That's all for our weather and forecast. Been a pleasure, Zimbabwe. I'm James Ngoma Jr. for the MEC Department.
Well, thank you, James, for the weather report. And that's all from us tonight. Have a good night.
Good night.